So we have seen like four types of center. So now the last one, which is the dynamic center, and I'll show you some positions of dynamic center. And if we get time, we'll see some positions of mixed character, so that it will test you know how much you have understood the topic.
Got it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the description about the dynamic centers. Yeah. Dynamic center, like I said before also, it's basically the center is not determined how it will be. You can take an example as a starting position. It's a dynamic center. We don't know how it will change. It will become static, close, open, or on center. So that is basically called a dynamic center. And it's one of the most difficult, or you can call it as confusing to make plans. But I'll try to make it as easy as possible. So let's understand what is a dynamic center. Complex piece arrangements with no direct contact or immediate threats. We'll see an example, then you will be able to understand better. And the plan. The most like thumb rule which we can call in dynamic center is that do not hurry. Like I have to do something very quick. It is not like that. We have to plan gradually and slowly. And most important thing is playing in the center only. Okay, let's see an example. Then we'll get back to all this. Suppose this position. This is a very typical position. Uh, Sicilian dragon. Do you guys know about Maroxybine structures? What is Maroxybine?
I have some idea with the C4 and E4 pawns.
Yeah, this is called a bind. The pawns are on E4 and C4, which are covering a lot of squares on the center, and they take a lot of space. White has kind of a space advantage.
Just 1 second. There seems to be an echo, like to your voice.
Okay, let me try to fix it. 1 second. Yeah, is it fine now?
Yeah, it's better.
It's better. There is still some problem.
There's slight issue. Like, okay, I think it's workable. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about this kind of pawn structures, these are very common. This kind of pawn structure. It happens in a lot of openings in Sicilian. So you should have this knowledge about when you play Sicilian from either of the sides, white tries to build this kind of setup.
Okay.
And it's actually very annoying for black to play. But black has some plans. Okay, you guys think from white side, what should you do? And like in dynamic center, if I tell you what plans you can make, is you should not hurry first of all, and your main focus should be to play in the center. And next thing, what you can do is transpose to other centers. Then you know the clear plan, no clear cut plan of other centers.
Got
If possible, transpose it to an open center. If you see that your opponent has made a lot of pawn moves in the side of the board, if you open the center, there will be a lot of weaknesses in the opponent's camp. That's why I thought that it will be good to take it in the end, this dynamic center.
Got it.
Okay. So yeah, think like, but this is a very standard question. What will be your thinking here?
See, usually in these positions, I play bishop e3 and then eventually queen d2 and try to trade off the dark square bishops.
Yeah, that's the most typical plan. Mm, okay. Okay, Anurag, do you have any other suggestions or you agree with them?
Yeah, like bishop e3.
Queen D2, yeah, that's the most general way of playing. But I'll give you another dimension to how to think in this kind of positions. Do you guys agree that you have space advantage as white?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you know about any rule of space when you have space advantage, how to play? Any idea?
If you have space, generally you avoid piece trades.
Exactly. That's the main plan because when you have more space, I'll try to explain this point. When you have more space, you can maneuver your pieces more freely. Like it's kind of a, you can imagine like a traffic jam situation. When you have less space and more vehicles, that means it will be a traffic jam. Black will not get more space to maneuver his pieces. If there are less pieces, you will be able to maneuver. There will be no jam if less vehicles. Are you able to connect?
Got it.
That's why white played knight c2 here.
Uh,
No exchange of pieces. And like in dynamic center, there is no clear cut plan. We have to gradually realize our plan. So here we had the space advantage. So we did not exchange pieces. Now we'll develop and we'll see next what happens. And you should play fast. Generally, you should play fast in dynamic center because the point is that you get confused, no, what to do. You have so many options. Like there can be, I'm giving an example in this particular position. There can be a plan like you said bishop e3, queen d2, and then f4, f5, or maybe a3, b4, b5, or even to exchange the dark color bishop. There are multiple plans.
yeah.
So you should not hurry at least. Like you can play like this in this kind of positions. Bishop e3, queen d2, rook d1. You played four moves quick. It will pressurize your opponent. And now you can think like to make a concrete plan. Okay. So b6. Otherwise, there is no problem in bishop e3. But I think you'll take with the bishop and bishop e6. Now see, without this knight on d4, the bishop can come to e6. And as I said, now black has easy play. Rook c8. And also the sometimes plan of v5, f4. Rook c8 targeting the c4 pawn. So the black's threat was to take on d4. Not, I'll not say target threat, but somehow idea. So that's why white played a good move here, knight c2. Now you can play bishop e6, but there will be no target on c4 because rook c8 is, the knight is in between. Okay, so he played b6, bishop e3, bishop b7, queen d2. Just step by step. Queen d7, f3. He's not committing f4 because if you commit f4, then e4 will be weak.
Yeah. Knight g4.
Yeah, knight g4 also was one of the ideas. So stopping knight g4 also. Do you know what Black will try to do if he has less space? What are his ideas?
Mm,
Let's try to get
usually,
depth. Yeah.
in Sicilian Dragon, they used to take ownership of that c5, like rook c8, then queen.
We cannot talk about Sicilian dragon because in all Sicilians, the C file is important for
Yeah,
black tries to attack. But if we talk about this structure, we should not go to the opening. We should think what is a structure. The structure is this Marokzibine structure. Maybe white will also put pawn on b3. This is very solid. And if white maintains this structure, you cannot win from black. Let's try to be neutral and understand the both sides' plans because you can get this position from either black or white. So let's be neutral and try to understand the main plans. The black's main plan is either d5 break, b5 break. These two are the main, and sometimes even f5 break. Because if white maintains his structure, you cannot defeat him. How will you beat him? If white maintains his super solid structure.
Got it.
So you have to realize this plan. Like what black can do is e6 to d5, breaking in the center, playing in the center only, e6 d5. But you have to prepare it. If you play it now, then the pawn is just lost. And if you play something like e6, this d6 pawn becomes weak. So black has to be very, very alert. That's why this knight c2 move makes a lot of difference. Now black is kind of paralyzed. He is not finding good squares for his pieces to realize his e6 d5 plans. Okay, so rook f d8, rook a d1, queen e8. Now again a moment like what to do now. We just cannot sit and play. Now we have to play something to win. So what can be your next plan?
knight d5 or bishop h6. Either
Knight.
knight d5.
You can play knight d5, and if he plays rook a8,
Then bishop h6 and
no, but you have to be very careful. Like he'll not just do anything. He'll just play bishop h8. He'll just keep quiet. And now you've committed knight d5. No, he can play e6 because now d6 pawn is protected because rook is on d8, and then maybe it can help him to realize his plan. E6 d5. Knight d5 looks very good, but like if black takes knight into d5, then it is very good for us. We are getting more space. We take with the c pawn, and this bishop is dead.
yeah,
And
bishop
also to see this c6 square could be an outpost, potential outpost for our knight, other knight.
yeah.
But he will not take. Your idea was good, but black will be smart. Black will not play knight into d5.
What about a4? Cramping black's queen side.
A4.
Yeah.
Okay, it's possible. And what next? Like suppose he plays something normal, rook c8. And what do you think? This queen e8, this is a very kind of surprising move, no? Like, what is he doing with queen e8? What do you think? Why did he play queen e8?
so that he can push that e pawn.
No, like if you would have pushed the e pawn, he could have played with queen on d7 also, no? E6. You mean d pawn?
So
No, no,
this
no.
the coordination looks a little better because rooks get connected, and with the rook on the d file opposite to our queen, it's nice.
Yeah, you can say, but there is actually a deep idea. Black wants to play queen f8.
Ah,
And like I've studied some dragon structures, like dragon openings. In this kind of structure, very typical plan. It's actually difficult to understand for you guys, but his idea is queen f8, h5, king h7, bishop h6. What is he doing?
exchanges, dark square bishop exchange.
Exchanging. And darks. Why is he exchanging dark square bishops? Have you heard about this good bishop, bad bishop concept?
Yeah.
White's pawns are fixed on light color. Okay, and most probably the pawn will come to b3. Most of the pawns are fixed on the light color. That makes the dark color bishop good. And if you talk about g7 bishop, this is a dragon bishop, but no targets. If the king was on c1, he could have targeted the king. But very will target? If you cannot target the king, if you cannot target the pawns, that's an open air bishop, firing in open air. This is actually very deep. What we think is the g7 bishop is very good, but it is not that good.
Got it.
Okay. Actually, it's quite deep, and if those exchanges happen, like this bishop and queens get traded, we'll get an endgame where we will have a bad bishop. The b7 bishop is full of targets. He'll break with f5 and then somewhere e4 will be a target or light color pawns will be a target. Okay. So here actually good move is this rookie one. Try to improve your pieces to the best squares and then realize your plan. Black played queen f8. He's also ready with his plan. Bishop f5. Both rooks are now good, well placed. And now we can think of White's two of the main plans in these kind of structures, f4, b4, these two breaks. Now White may be thinking of, if Black plays h5, White will play h3. Okay. If Black plays king h7, White will play f4, denying the exchange of bishops and also the knight on g4. Not allowing knight to come to g4, that's why h3. And when f4 comes, these rooks are better placed. The point I'm trying to say is, these are positions where you have to play very slowly, steadily, and try to outplay your opponent like that. If you play directly something like without preparing, we play f4, then suddenly we can, like I can give you an example maybe. Suppose here only you play f4, no? Not here. Maybe you can play knight f5. Now suddenly your e4 pawn looks a bit weak, no? You can defend with bishop f3, knight c4 is hanging. Yes, the
Yeah.
e4 pawn.
Yeah.
That's why if we try to attack immediately, we try to create an attack, it will be weakness. That's why he's trying to prepare this break. If later it comes, the bishop will just move f2 and the e4 pawn is safeguarded. Okay, let's see this game full. Okay, we'll be able to understand many ideas. Bishop f5, rook d7, and now he played knight d4. And now you must be thinking, oh, you said that we should not trade pieces, knight c2, then knight d4 again. Because now black's pieces are kind of weirdly placed. And if it takes, we'll take with the bishop, and the queen has the f2 square whenever bishop h6 comes. Okay. So the weirdly placed pieces, major pieces, no coordination. No? Okay. So that's a black declined the exchange, knight a5, a4. Now a4 is powerful, no? Because a5 can pass. Okay, e6. I think this is the critical moment.
E6 or rook c8.
Rook c8, you're saying?
Yeah, like
Said
why?
e6, just b3.
Okay.
Like there is nothing to rush. Slow, steady chess. We are aiming to play 60, 70 moves, grind it to the end game. That's how we win. Because I've given you the example. If we hurry, it will become worse. And like I predict that you guys must hurry in this position. That before seeing this game, when you play in online or over the board, you think that okay, I have to make a plan and play quickly to outplay my opponent. Do you guys play like this chess? Very slow, rook e1, bishop f1, knight c2 came back, again knight d4 came. Have you seen this kind of game or have you played it yourself?
I've seen it, but I don't think I ever like played this way.
Yeah, yeah.
Very unusual.
Actually, when I was also like around 1500, 1600, I used to think why to play so slow. We should play something very quick. But it actually, that was the reason why it was backfiring in my games. I was trying to play very quick, some plans, and just try to outplay my opponent, and it was backfiring. Okay, so a4, e6. He could have played rook c8, but rook c8 b3, just defend. And now white set it up a very good trap for black. Positional trap. Okay. Okay, like it's not easy, but what do you think? How to continue as well?
What about knight d b5? Because if they play a6, the b6 becomes a little weaker.
Interesting. Huh? But I think they'll not play a6 now.
Even a knight b5, that d6 pawn can also fall.
D6 pawn, I don't think actually. I mean, if you play knight d5, bishop c6, let's say. If knight d6, d8, or even maybe,
The
yeah, rook d8. Six. Yeah, but it was a good try, this knight db5 idea.
b4.
B4. See, again, we have this temptations to push, to create something, and this only creates weaknesses. Like maybe black can play now c8. Now c4 looks a bit shaky. Now rook c7 will also come, and I think c4 pawn will fall,
Yeah.
right? What's black's idea? What could be black's idea? What do you think? Like one idea is to exchange this dark color bishop and some pieces of red, and that's what white allowed. White played bishop f2, black played bishop h6, bishop e3, bishop e3, queen e3. Now, can you think why did white do like this? Why did white allow black's idea to be executed? Actually, simple reason.
Dark square weaknesses? Like,
Yeah,
black.
actually,
Let me know.
black white allowed this trade d6 square. Before I told you this idea of bishop h6 was possible because the pawn was on e7. Now with the pawn on e6, the d6 square is very weak, the d6 pawn. Now white will attack it and black doesn't have that bishop to defend it. And now you will see how slowly and steadily white will build an attack on that pawn. So black played knight c6, trying to exchange more pieces now. Knight into c6. Because now we have got a clear target. What I said that in dynamic center, we'll just wait, we'll just shuffle with our pieces. We'll wait for our opponent to make mistake and then we'll point it out. Like we found that the d6 pawn is now weak. Now it will play on that pawn only. Bishop into c6, rook d2, rook d8, rook d1. Okay, one question. If black plays d5, what is happening?
Excuse me.
Just like e take d and then queen e5,
Queen?
queen e5, e take d then queen e5, or just to remove the defender of that on
No,
the
no. Queen e5, you'll play something like queen d6.
queen
Yeah, and if everything gets traded, then it will be a clear, like we'll have no advantage. Everything gets exchanged and it will be most probably a draw.
What about e5? Like
e5. Yeah, e5,
gaining some
There
space.
is a
e5.
there is a better way to do e5. Like e5 direct is also okay, fine. Like if black plays knight e8, we just wanted some space.
Yeah.
Actually, the correct order is cd5, ed5, e5. Now this again weakness.
Ah,
We could have done it other way also, like e5, knight e8, cd5. Now this pawn is a weakness. This bishop will be a bad piece because it will put something on d4 and just free flowing. See, conversion of the center.
got it.
Now we have got a better position with an isolated pawn on d5, and all black's pieces will be tied down to its defense. We are attacking, and black will defend. So it's a better condition. So now black played knight e8 and b4 now. Now we don't have any problem of the c4 pawn. Now b4, taking more space on the queen side. Queen g7.
What if a5 here? Like instead of queen.
Yeah, I was about to ask it and you told it before. Oh, like from black a5.
Yeah.
No, b6 is hanging now.
All right.
But I told you the answer.
Yeah.
Like queen g7. Now white played b5. Bishop e7, a5. And do you have heard about this principle of two weaknesses?
Yeah.
Black has already a weakness on d6. Now white is trying to create more weaknesses here. So black played ba5. We cannot take on a7 because c3 is hanging. But this structure is already bad, no?
Yeah.
And also we also got this c5. And now it's losing for black. It was one of the difficult positions. But I showed you this first that to make you understand the nature of this kind of center. And we have to play like this only. Slowly, steadily. When opponent makes a mistake, be alert and punish him. Like the d6 pawn was weak, exchanged the dark color bishop, and then the principle of two weaknesses, b5, a5. Okay, let's see other examples. Yeah, this is nice.
So, just one question: is there a book where the five centers are articulate? By any chance?
What?
Is there a book where like all these types of centers are covered?
No, there is not a book. Like, do you have heard about Igor Smirnov?
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he has made some different courses of all centers,
Ah,
and like I compiled it up, and then I'm showing you. Like basically, the material which I'm giving you is from his courses only,
okay.
but some addition is like you asked, no, that this commentary and also I add my own some addition which I like so that you can understand better.
Got it.
Yeah. But what I think is this kind of style is very out of the box for you players. Uh, you don't play like this mostly. You play more attacking, aggressive only tactics. This slowish nature game do you guys play?
Very unlikely.
Very unlikely. I think to get better, you have to add this dimension.
Usually we don't get these opponents online which will play like that also, like both.
Yeah, online means what time control? Like if you play blitz, then this kind of work is just waste. But for rapid and classical, this kind of style of play, if you improve in yourself, it will improve a lot. Like your rating will improve, everything will go up. Okay, this is a more interesting position. How will you continue? This is also one of the typical opening positions. The Scaven engine. It's called Scaven engine.
What about pawn e5? Yeah.
Yeah, bishop d3, rook e1, then e5.
Yes, exactly. That's what I said. No, like we have this temptation to hurry with e5
Okay.
because, like from from the point of this dynamic center, this e5 move is kind of premature. You have not got your pieces to the best square and you're breaking.
Hmm.
And like if going with concrete play, d5, what is happening? Like if to refute this line, what is happening? d5,
Bishop takes.
bishop takes, and maybe queen b6. Hmm, like I play this position from black, and I'm very happy when my opponent plays e5 early
Oh, okay. Good.
because you have a strong center, no, you have more space, and you're exchanging, and you're not getting a direct attack. Maybe you can play f5.
Hmm.
Maybe this would be your idea, but just bishop d7. We not much is happening.
True.
Like basically, it's premature.
Hmm.
But Anurag said is perfect. Bishop d3, rook e1, then e5. So rook d8, rook
Yeah, just a better
seven.
way to play e5.
Yeah, yeah, better one. Yes. So okay, again a question like, will you play immediately e5 or something else? So what do you think?
Queen h3.
Queen h3.
Queen?
Queen h3 or h4.
No, h4, maybe some tactics will be there, no? Bishop, same line of the bishop. Queen h3 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like pushing e5 with the attack on the knight and the mating knight.
True, exactly. Queen h3. Now black played e5. Now our all we will feel that, oh my god, I prepared so much and then my opponent played e5.
Knight d5.
What do you what?
Knight d5.
Knight d5, bishop d5?
Pawn.
Your idea was nice. Like knight d5, you wanted that if it takes with the knight, then e d5 and queen h7 mate. But you'll take with the bishop.
But again, I'll take and then bishop on f5 or like he plays the opponent plays e5 just to cramp that bishop. So
Like bishop d5, what you will do?
pawn take.
But your bishop is hanging.
Okay, knight is still on there. Okay, okay.
So what to do? Do you think that all our preparation was wasted? We played rook e1, bishop d3, queen h3, and opponent played e5. So it's just waste. Will you think like this?
Uh,
What do you think?
Like we can just play bishop e3, no? Whenever we want, we can open up the f file if necessary, or we can do something else.
Oh, so what do you think? Which is better? Like we have two options.
f take.
95, yeah,
I mean, like we can open that rook file f take or f take
yeah.
e1.
So telling you to think which is better. First take and then retreat with the bishop, or first retreat with the bishop.
First retreat,
First,
retreat, bishop g1 or
e3. Like what's the reason? You have to give me a reason why.
I mean, if I take then black take, black has a open, black pieces getting more active.
Exactly. This is the second very most important thing in this dynamic center. First was playing slowly and building up the attack, and the second thing is maintaining tension. Have you heard about this maintaining tension in the center?
Yeah.
Like it's always good to maintain tension in the center because it takes your opponent to also uncomfortable situation. He has to always think, will I take ef4, or there will be confusion, or maybe sometimes there is an option to push also e4. Here it is not, but we keep the opponent in confusion. And the second point is that when we play fe5 d5, technically our f4 pawn got exchanged with the d6 pawn. The d6 pawn, which was like kind of a traitor, the rook on d7 is unhappy because of the pawn on d6. The bishop on e7 is unhappy because of the pawn on d6. Now both are happy when the d6 pawn goes. So we should not hurry. Like it, if you release the tension in the center like this, fe5, d5, most of the time it will help your opponent to activate their pieces. Okay. So okay, now we have got to this conclusion that we should not take. Now we have three options with the bishop. Bishop e3, bishop f2, bishop g1. Two are okay. Third one is very good. So which one is very good?
Bishop
You have to
g1,
understand the position to make this decision.
bishop g1.
Like, okay, you can think maybe because it's very critical and very nice actually. With square to go. Three options. All three are okay, but one is like clearly better than the other two.
Bishop g1 or bishop e3. These two squares.
What?
Bishop e3, if not bishop g1.
No, I did not say that bishop g1 is wrong or something like this. Like I'm saying that no, bishop f2 is also an option. No?
Bishop f2, then h4. Will that work? Bishop f2 and bishop h4.
Exactly. This is the idea. If you see the opponent's last move, e6 to e5.
Yeah.
Did I talk about drawback in previous sessions? The concept of drawback.
Drawbacks, no. I don't think we did it.
No. So, like, drawback is something that when your opponent plays a move, what is bad about the opponent's move? What is bad?
d5 square.
The d5 square. And who is the defender of the d5 square?
Knight.
Right.
Knight on f6. And also, when you play bishop f2, bishop h4, and then with the idea of bishop f6, knight d5, you take with e d5, and the bishop on d3 is active, and the h7 mate is alive. If opponent plays g6, we have f5 to attack.
Okay.
That was deep. Actually, bishop f2 is very good find. Bishop f2 is correct. Queen c8. Now 95 direct. He could have played like bishop h4 first also, but the point is knight d5 he cannot take with the knight. No, we have discussed it earlier.
Yeah.
Knight d5 is not possible. He has to take with the bishop or move something else. He played bishop d8. Okay, now we have got the knight to the center. Now what to do? Still, black is not taking on d5 and letting our bishop to be activated. So how to continue next?
Bishop h4.
Bishop h4 is possible, but okay. And your idea is like you want to take bishop f6
Yeah, bishop f6. Bishop take f6.
and just destroy the structure.
Yeah, it destroyed the structure. Yeah, correct. If
Absolutely, you are correct. Bishop h4.
yeah, because he cannot take with the opponent cannot take with the bishop because there is a fork. So yes,
Yeah, knight b6 is also there, and even knight into f6 is also good. No, the opponent's king will be very weak. So he took with the bishop into d5. Now he was forced to do it. Otherwise, he will get into a bad position.
why not take with the knight?
No, knight takes e d5, no?
Yeah, again, okay.
And this mate on
Yeah,
h7.
bishop is in between, no?
But we'll take bishop d8. Like if you take bishop d5, bishop d8. Now, if you don't have time to pick up this bishop, that
Yeah.
there is h7 mate. If you save it, we'll save our bishop piece up.
Yeah. Correct.
So bishop d5, e d5. And now you see all pieces are doing some job. The bishop, rooks, and creating a very good attack. And attacks pieces lack coordination. Now we have a very dangerous threat. We are aiming for two threats. Can you tell which one? They are easy to find.
Bishop take f6 here.
Bishop f6 is one. Very good. Bishop f6 is one. Another idea.
F take e.
Simple tactics is there.
Yeah, bishop f5.
Yeah, sure, simple. Pinning the rook and will win at least an exchange. So black has to forcefully play e4. Maybe he can play g6, but g6 now f5 and position getting opened is very bad for black. So he's e4 he played, sacrificed a pawn. Oh no. Can we tell it a sacrifice? Because c2 is hanging, d7 is hanging. So you have to calculate that. So now you have some options. You can take bishop e4 and bishop f6. So what do you think? Which is better?
Bishop take e4.
Okay, let's do some calculation and knight takes e4.
Rook take. Okay, my pawn also. Rook takes.
Rook takes e4
Yeah.
and bishop takes h4. Your c2 pawn will be hanging and black will get good counterplay. And when your position is good, you should try that your opponent gets zero counterplay. It is one of the important rules when you have a good position.
So I think we take the knight first, bishop takes, then we take on e4, and it's a checkmate threat. So they'll have to defend, and we can save our pawn.
That's correct, but black has an intermediate move after bishop f6.
Bishop. Okay, pawn takes bishop.
Pawn takes bishop, then
Bishop take d8.
and what if black plays again an intermediate black has, which is the intermediate move after bishop takes d8.
Pawn takes e2.
Now, pawn takes c2, then we'll just move our bishop. Now we are peaceful. Are you able to visualize or will I put it on the board?
Pawn d2?
D2. So we are learning some tactics also here. This intermediate move. This is a very important motive in tactics. So D2, what will you do? Will I put it over the board if you have any problem? Or will you try like this? Like by doing this, you will improve your visualization. Very good. You'll be able to think deep.
Bishop take f6, then pawn take, and then after
Then
that, after queen take d3.
no. We are calculating this. Bishop into f6, e into d3, bishop into d8, d2. Intermediate move.
Okay, d2.
Rook d1?
Yeah.
Rook d1 and if black takes rook d8,
I'll take
like
on.
with the rook d8.
Okay, rook d8. Okay.
Yeah.
Then queen can exchange.
Queen exchange should also work. Queen trade and then take on d2.
Yeah.
No, actually, this was the most important question of the whole variation. To trade the queens or not? We think that we'll trade the queens and then win the pawn. But always remember this rook end game with one pawn up, it's very difficult to convert. Because the rook end games are the most difficult ones to convert because rooks create a lot of counterplay. So it's better to keep queens on the board. You should play something like queen d3. Now you defend the c2 pawn and then rook d2 and we are a pawn up.
Okay. So slowing
And
down.
So that position was better. Actually, this that's what happened in the game. And okay, it took with the F rook, but I think rook d8 was the most important question what to do. And now queen d3, d7, queen d2. And white is a pawn up, and the rest is about matter of technique. So I'll just give you a small glimpse about how to convert. For conversion, the best thing is do not allow opponent's counterplay. This is the best thing. And whichever is the counter-attacking piece, try to exchange that. And the next thing is you have a pawn majority now here. If possible, try to realize it and create a pass pawn. Basic tips, just basic tips. We are not going in deep into that. That's also a very big topic to discuss.
But exchanging one of the rook will be better for white, I think, at least.
Very good. Yeah, that's what. Like actually, I'm in Chennai now, and I'm just attending some camps. So above, like IM camp is happening. So some GM from Poland has come. So we had like yesterday we had some 4 or 5 position where he showed the matter of technique, and he was telling us that to exchange one pair of rooks, and he's teaching those IMs and including me, like I have 2 IM and you just said it without knowing all this. So that's great. You have this knowledge because if you trade one pair of rooks, there will be no counterplay.
Yeah.
That's so okay. Let's take one more position. This one. Mhm. Yeah. So this position, white took it.
And rook even e5 f5.
Yeah, like after knowing this is very easy. And if rook h1, if black plays, yes, are you asking something?
Yeah, I should we go for rook e1 or directly e5 here? Like, because like from black point of view, this b5 is coming, right? Or is there any other idea? Another idea?
b5, the pawn is already on b5. You mean b4?
Yeah, sorry, b4. Yeah, like what are the black plans here? Like b4 or rook
Yeah,
c?
black plan is actually to create counterplay in the queen side. So one of the most typical ideas is to break with b4, but now a b4 will come. Or other ideas could be like castle, rook c8, and the most famous, this exchange sacrifice. Do you know about this? That black plays something like queen f5 and rook into c3. Exchange sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very typical, this exchange sacrifice. So, but black's plan is slow. So we can realize our plan steadily. So that's why rook h1 is correct. But rook h1, there is one question for you guys. Like rook h1, what happens if black plays h6? What's the most logical move?
Retreat the bishop.
Trade the bishop with the knight, not bishop h4.
No, retreating it.
Oh, retreating.
Yeah.
Bishop h4. There is some tactical problem with bishop h4.
Knight cross
Knight
e4.
cross e4. Now the bishop on h4 is hanging. So we get one more lesson that whenever we are playing positional chess, this is kind of a positional strategic chess. We should also be alert for tactics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bishop
So
knight.
yeah, that's why. So rook h1, h6, bishop h6. So the white doesn't mind giving up the bishop pair because he knows that he is better developed in the center and he can create some actions like you said, no, e5. That's what happened. Knight f6, e5. And now you have to be extremely alert for tactics. Now position will become tactical soon. Like one tactics I was seeing is, I'm not sure, but if you take and then play knight d5, 96. This alertness, fe6, bishop g6. It's nice when you play this kind of play like e4, rook at g1, e5, and then you get this kind of ideas, this tactical motive. And this position is very good, no? Maybe something like queen g4, attacking that e6 pawn. Yes, king c8, knight d5, bishop d5, rook d5.
Yeah.
So that's why I played e5 direct knight d5 because now the f file is not open and this tactic cannot work. So what do you think? How to continue?
E take, then uh, e take, bishop take, knight take d5, bishop d5, and then
What?
e take d6, even first of all.
E takes d6.
Bishop takes,
Ah, again intermediate move, no? Knight into c3.
okay.
Knight into c3 and then we'll take. So
For,
what was your idea? E takes d6, bishop takes d6.
then knight takes, so we'll take first with the knight then.
And then bishop into d5.
Yeah, then this e6 pawn is pinned, so uh, knight f5 or like
Hmm. Good ideas actually. But like you take knight d5, bishop d5, e d6, you'll take with the queen. He will not allow you to pin that e6 pawn. So now knight e6 ideas are not working.
I mean like first knight takes, then e take, then queen will take.
Let me put it like knight d5, bishop d5, e d6, queen d6. Now you don't have knight f5, no?
Yeah.
but you are going in the right direction. This is what happened in the game.
Then f5.
F5. Black king is in the center. We are better developed. Pieces centralized. Break it. F5. See, just after 4 or 5 moves, White got a very good position. After realizing his plan, and now Black took queen into h2. But always remember, in the middle game, the central pawns are more important than the side pawns. So fe6, and Black short castled. But now King b1. King b1 is a prophylactic move. Like sometimes bishop g5 check or queen f4 check could have come. That's why King b1.
We have intermediate move first, right? Like we can give with the check, or it will open the rook's file, f file. That's why we are not giving check. Pawn take f7.
Yeah, I got it. It makes sense. But we have that in our hand now. We can do it anytime we want. Because black cannot play f6 or something because knight f5 will come. Actually now with king b1 our idea is knight f5. If the bishop moves e7. So we are not committing e into f7, that's why.
Okay.
And if we play now knight f5, then bishop g5 check is coming. So still black played bishop g5, knight f3, queen f4. Now the final question, how to get better position after queen f4.
Knight take g7, then e7.
Knight takes g5, queen takes g5, e7.
Then I take g5, then e7.
Rook e8. Because it's not so clear now. Because now black will play bishop e6 and the e7 pawn.
Then I guess e take f7, then knight take g5.
But do you think that position is better for white?
Queen.
See, one thing you might have missed is what I was saying is dynamic center gets shifted to other types of center, which is the type of center we are having now.
Open center.
Open center. So what's the main plan in open center?
Maneuvering of pieces.
Maneuvering of pieces.
I mean, put your pieces on the central squares now.
Center squares. Yes, exactly. The black's bishop on d5 is centralized. So
We can remove it.
how?
This bishop at h7 check and
Bishop h7 check. We are using tactical ideas to get our pieces centralized and removing opponent's centralized pieces.
yeah.
So we would have not got this idea if we do not know this plan now. and we have to centralize our pieces and also to remove opponent centralized pieces. This is vice versa, like this. So rook into d5, bishop f6, queen d3 check, again centralizing our pieces, king h7, knight d4. And also, actually, more powerful move was rook e4. You see white pieces. But okay, knight d4, rook e8, rook f1, queen g4. And now, like, it's a matter of technique because white has got a better position because black's king is more weak. We can attack better, like e cross f7, king cross f7, knight f5. This is an open center. More pawn moves, that means you will have more weaknesses. If the pawn was on h7, maybe black could have resisted more. Rook e6, rook d7 check, king f8, knight h6. And now it's lost because gh6, what is coming? Actually, many moves are possible.
Queen h7.
Queen h7, pawn take queen h7.
Yeah, just resignation. Yeah. So this was actually a very good example of transformation. The position transposed to an open center. White played with the pieces. Open center, we have to play with the pieces. More centralized, you have to make it. Okay, so let's wind it up with some points. So, yeah, so the plan, like I think I mentioned all of this. Unlimited time to prepare it slowly, occupy your half of the board optimally, complete the development checklist, like play rook e1 before playing e5, rook e1, bishop d3, examples, before initiating contact, before playing this e5 breaks and all. Maintain the tension to exhaust the opponent practically, and absolutely avoid careless pawn pushes on the flanks. If you remember this example, black played h6, bishop into f6. That made a lot of weakness. That's a g6 square. Light color were weak. It helped white actually. And let's make a review of all the centers. Yeah, so open empty center, strategic goal, radiate power, attack the flanks, like get a good position of pieces in the center, like white got in this position, queen d3, rook d5, and then attack the king. Do not play careless pawn moves, key danger. Locked pawns. Strategic goal, open files, like you have to play on the flanks. Initiate a pawn assault. Play more with pawns. Passive defense. You should not defend. You should try to create counter attack. Like suppose white is playing on the queen side, attacking on the queen side because close center, no, we have to play on the flank. White is playing on the queen side. We should not try to defend. What black should do is black should attack on the king side. Okay. Static center, suppose d4, d5 pawns, one open file will be there. Anchor pieces like e5 square, c5 square, occupy protected squares. Yielding the open file. Do not give your opponent the open file, it can be a danger. Pawn center, asymmetric pawns. You have pawns in the center, opponent doesn't have. Two plans are there, dominate or blockade. If you have the pawn center, try to just maintain it and then dominate with your pieces, or elsewhere blockade. If you remember this, I've given this example. No? This, if you have pawns on e4, d4, you play knight f6. When opponent plays e5, knight d5. Do you remember?
Ah, yes. And one pawn moves up, usually that also creates a weakness, no? Like can
Yeah.
blockade.
Exactly. It should be protected well enough.
Yeah,
If you're playing with the pawn center and you're pushing any pawn, it should be like with preparation. You cannot play it without preparation. It will be a weakness.
got it.
Golden rule: push vigorously or force the blockade. Key danger: this that's what we discussed. Unsupported pawns. We have to push our pawns with protection, with preparation. Dynamic center. Let's come to the last one. No contact. Prepare thoroughly. Keep the tension. This f4 e5. If you remember, e4 f4 pawns were there. We did not take f e5. And do not do premature flank attacks. Okay. To end it up, let me ask you one question. If your opponent does premature flank attacks in the dynamic center, then why is it wrong?
Like it could backfire.
How can we punish?
We can break in the center.
Yeah, break in the center. Because the center is not determined yet, no, it can become open center also. And when you have played pawn moves, it will be a weakness.
Got
Okay, this universe, despite the infinite complexity. This is last line is good. Despite the infinite complexity of chess, the winning plan is never found in random variations or tactical hope. Like the point is to make up, like we do a lot of tactics or calculation practice. But if we don't reach a position where it is required, like if you're playing 10-15 moves, is there any tactics over the board? Have you seen like that? This is like the pre-tactics phase. Like you have to build it up well.
got
If
it.
you don't build it up well, you will not get tactics to employ on it. Read the structure, identify the center, execute the blueprint. Okay, so we have completed all types of center. Like we have understood it a bit, but you will get better only when you practice more positions. While playing, also you can apply. Like, have any of you applied in this in your own game? Like you play the opening and then the middle game come, and then you are realizing which center is it, and then you are making a plan. In these days, have you tried it?
A few times.
Like nowadays, if I'm playing, I'm seeing which center it is initially. Earlier, I don't used to see the center actually.
Okay, so is it helping or is it the same?
Mm. And I didn't play any long game. Like it just I played 10 minutes, 10 and 15 minutes control only.
Yeah, but in that time control, it's difficult to make a plan.
Yeah.
Like if possible, play at least 15 minutes or 20 minutes. 25 minutes is ideal. If you can play 15 minutes also, then it is good. You have some time to think and make a plan.
Mm. Usually, we don't find players online who play 25 minutes or
Like
15
where do you stay?
and stay in. I'm currently in UP,
UP, capital which city?
Kanpur.
I think there are many players who play. You can find some offline friends, no? To play 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
Mm, okay.
Okay. Okay. So do you have any doubt?
Mm,
Nothing. Nothing.
so
Yeah.
you can like analyze one of our games like we played last weekend, me and Kiran. If you have something to
Okay, sure. Like you can share me on this group and then I'll see and tell you the feedback. What could you have done better?
yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Okay then.
Sure.
Also, one more thing, like this tournament, like which tournaments I can go to play. I mean, like
Like actually, it depends on your time also, no? How much time you have to play a tournament, and then how much time do you have before a tournament to prepare. Like I would suggest that if you're not getting time to prepare, then you should not go for a tournament. Like suppose if you're planning a tournament in 1 month, let's suppose I'll give you an example. If you're planning a tournament in 1 month, at least every day you should practice 2 to 3 hours a day to get decent results. And tournament selection is not a problem. Like, are you thinking about rapid or classical?
oh, classical only. I mean, classical. Like I just wanted to start to get a FIDE, at least the FIDE rating, and then see how far it can go.
Yeah, yeah. So you can, like I said, no, you should practice at least 2 to 3 hours a day for a month, and then you can play any tournament. Like there is no specific tournament selection you should do. You just find any good tournament nearby. Do you know this AICF website?
Okay.
Like if I'll share you on the group. If you search AICF, they will show a list of tournaments.
2 3 hours of practice. You said like so. Just only playing games online, or
No,
does it
no, not
entail
playing
like?
on. Like, suppose let's assume that you have 3 hours a day. So what you can do is, 1.5 hours you can train tactics. Okay,
Okay.
and not 1.5 hour. Let's say 1 hour you can train tactics, and half an hour you can see this what we have discussed. This planning and all in different types of center. You can see for this, you can give half an hour for this, and rest 1.5 hours you can play rapid games with analysis. Like you just analyze on your own. Did I make the correct plan? Did I miss any tactics? If you miss something, just write it down on the notebook so that you do not repeat the same mistake again. That would be the ideal thing to do if you have like 2 to 3 hours a day.
Okay.
Got
Okay then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.